When you feel like someone else is causing all the mess and confusion in your life, it's a sign. It's a sign that you need to take a closer look at yourself. That person is just showing you that you haven't fully mastered your own emotions and reactions. You needed this reminder to understand that you have some inner work to do to become peaceful again. Think about a well-known line from A Course in Miracles that I always find powerful. I can choose peace rather than this. It's a great reminder when you're not feeling peaceful. Write this affirmation down and make several copies. Put these copies in places where you will see them often, like at home, at work, and in your car. I can choose peace rather than this. Whenever you feel stressed, scared, sad, upset, or angry, stop and say this line to yourself. As you repeat these 7 words, try to fill your mind with peaceful thoughts, even when you're feeling distressed. This simple practice can help you bring calmness and tranquility back into your life. Every day, set aside a specific time to be alone and undisturbed. You could take a brisk walk, lock your bedroom door, or leave the busy environment of your office to find a quiet place. During these precious moments alone, tell yourself, I am letting go and letting God. This means you're releasing the burden of feeling responsible for everything and everyone around you. Calmly, you hand over all your worries to God. When you return to the noisy world, you'll feel like you have a new partner, God, by your side. Make meditation a regular part of your daily routine. Many people resist meditation, especially in the Western world. They say, I'm too busy, I can't quiet my mind, or it doesn't work for me. These excuses are just fears of connecting with God and calming your ego. For the next 60 days, commit to meditating at least once a day, preferably twice. You can choose any technique that works for you. The important thing is to practice regularly. When you meditate, it's like lifting the weight of your problems off your shoulders. Your soul feels nourished, and you can approach everything with a sense of peace and calmness. When people ask me, how can I be at peace in such a chaotic world? I always remind them that peace starts within. It's inner peace, not something you get from the outside world. You need to reach a point where you bring your peace to every situation and person you meet, instead of relying on external circumstances to create it. Remember, you become what you think about all day. If you constantly focus on the world's horrors, listen to negative news, or read about others' misfortunes, you're conditioning yourself away from peace. Instead, remind yourself that for every act of evil, there are 1,000 acts of kindness. This shift in perspective helps you focus on peace. When you interrupt someone sharing a negative story and steer the conversation towards something positive, you become a peacemaker. Every day, you're given many chances to practice peace. Now, make today the day you start practicing being a peacemaker. When you give peace, you receive peace in return. Start by making peace with yourself. Take a deep look at everything you've done in your life and remind yourself that all those experiences were necessary. They gave you the energy to reach a higher spiritual level. If you're better than you used to be, that's enough reason to make peace with yourself. Self-reproach, guilt, disappointment, self-hatred, and anger only take you away from peace. Let go of these negative feelings and embrace self-acceptance and forgiveness. Spend time in nature as often as you can. Step away from the fast-paced world of technology, investment decisions, and the noise of crowded places. Nature offers you peace because it connects you with the energy of God. When you return to nature, you open yourself up to new spiritual solutions for all your problems. When you look at your own unique problems, remember 3 important words from St. Paul's letters to the Corinthians. Love never fails. Whenever I face a problem, sending love always works. This is true even in situations filled with hatred. Everywhere you look, you can see the struggle between good and evil, love and hatred. Many people believe these opposing forces are God versus the devil. However, I find this idea hard to accept. If there is only one creator and one power in the universe, how can both God and the devil exist? If you believe in the devil as the truth, then you have to accept that hatred, violence, ugliness, prejudice, disease, poverty, and chaos are real. This means all love and goodness are false. But if you believe in God as the truth, then love is the truth and evil is false. Hatred is part of that false evil. I see hate as love energy going in the wrong direction. People who seem hateful are really just projecting their feelings of being unloved. When you meet someone who resents you, know that this person feels resented and is simply giving out what they have inside. If someone judges you, it's because they feel judged themselves. These people believe they are not loved and are sending out negative, hateful energy. So when dealing with your troubles, focus on love. Remember that love never fails. Even when faced with hate, respond with love. Understand that those who spread negativity are often feeling unloved themselves. By choosing to send out love, you can transform negative situations and promote peace and understanding. Let's think about where we encounter hatred and how we can respond with love to the problems that come with it. Hatred shows up in many ways. One race mistreating or attacking another, some people hoarding food while others starve, constant violence through killing, fighting, verbal abuse and cheating, and laws that favor one group over another. When those in power change, the new leaders often seek revenge on the former oppressors. Hatred seems to create more hatred. Evil exists in the minds of people. Any hatred you see comes from individuals who feel disconnected from God and the flow of love. If you start to share their hatreds, you also become disconnected. Feelings like revenge, anger, retaliation, and gloom are all mental constructs. People who hate often feel hated themselves. There are 2 ways you can help change this feeling of hatred. First, by showing those who behave hatefully that you only have love to offer them. Second, by understanding that God loves them unconditionally, even if they can't see it. When you encounter hatred, respond with love. Show love to those who seem to hate, and remember that God's love is there for everyone, even if they don't realize it. By doing this, you can help break the cycle of hatred and bring more love into the world. You might think that all this talk about love sounds too abstract and religious, especially when you're facing someone who is directing hate toward you. But believe me, understanding that hatred is just misdirected love and a sign that the person feels unloved can actually weaken and dissolve the hatred. Here's a simple way to handle those close to you who show hatred. First, remember that hatred is just frustrated love. Then, silently repeat to yourself, Lord, make me an instrument of thy peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. The hatred aimed at you is actually the other person's pain being revealed. When the hate is dissolved, the pain loses its power. One of the most loving things you can do in response to hate is to silently send that person a blessing and remove yourself from the situation. By stepping away, you keep your own energy field clean and give the other person space to reflect on their actions. If someone tries to draw you into their hatred, remember that you don't have to take the bait. It's like trying to argue with someone who refuses to argue back. The angry person becomes disarmed when met with peace and love. Many problems in life come from dealing with people who bring hate into our space. Think about how much this hate affects your home, work, family, friendships, and even your health. Then ask yourself if you add to the hate by hating those who hate. Problems start in our thoughts. If your mind is filled with love, there's no room for hate because they can't exist together. When you face hate, stay aware of your thoughts and focus on love. This is the spiritual solution. It takes time, but slowly, love will change the hate into joy and beauty. Planting love where there is hate means anywhere you encounter hate, even inside yourself. Anything you've done that makes you feel self-hate is in the past. Don't waste today hating yourself. Instead, turn your thoughts towards love. Forgiveness is the key to making this change. I suggest you try what I do whenever I find myself in a situation where there is hatred. I repeat a line from the St. Francis prayer, "Where there is hatred, let me sow love." This reminder helps me act with love instead of letting my ego fight hate with more hate. You've probably heard the saying, let's send him some positive energy. This isn't just a saying. It's a real way to spread love where there is hate. You can use your loving energy in this way whenever you want. Make a conscious effort to spend an hour with someone who is less fortunate. I can almost guarantee that within a few blocks of your home, there's someone who feels desperate and helpless. Often they don't realize that what they are missing is the feeling of being loved. You can be the one to bring peace and love to their life, and in doing so, you also bring peace and love to yourself. You don't have to give them money, food, or anything material. Just the simple act of showing love creates a spiritual solution to their problem and nourishes your own soul as well. The best way to deflect hatred is to be mindful of how you react to it. If you feel offended by someone's hateful behavior, it means you've taken it personally and let your ego get involved. Imagine someone says to you, "I hate you. You never give me any credit for anything. All you ever do is criticize me." Instead of taking it personally, you might respond by saying, "You feel like I don't give you enough credit, and that makes you really angry. I want you to know that I think you're capable and talented, and I'll try to tell you that more often." By responding this way, you haven't taken anything personally, and you've responded to hate with love. This approach helps to transform negative energy into positive energy, benefiting both you and the other person. When you take the time to get to know people who seem full of hate, you'll find that they want the same things you do. By getting to know them, spending time with them, and making an extra effort to show some love toward those who seem to emit hatred, you create an environment where love can grow. This doesn't just apply to family members. You can have lunch with the person who is most disrespectful to you at work. In just an hour of being together, you can reduce much of the hatred. Often it feels impossible to connect with someone who is filled with hate. In such cases, try expressing your feelings in a letter. This way, the person can't argue back with their built-up anger. Even if they disagree with everything you write, make an effort to let them know they are important, valuable, and loved by you and by God. Also, explain how their hatred affects you and why you often distance yourself from it. By sending love in a letter, you avoid the heated exchanges that can make the situation worse. This written form of communication helps to calm things down and opens the door to understanding and change. One of the best ways I've found to spread love where there is hatred is to be kind and generous in my response. For example, send flowers to someone who has been verbally abusive to you. You could also mail a box of candy or send a gift certificate as a response to their hate. Additionally, it's important to forgive yourself and treat yourself with love. Often, the reasons you might have for hating yourself come from believing that your ego is the most important part of you. Your ego makes you think you are defined by what you do, what you have, and what others think of you. It makes you feel separate from others and from God. Because of this, your ego constantly judges, evaluates, and compares you to others. When you don't measure up, you start to hate yourself. You focus on your perceived failures and turn them into self-hate. By forgiving yourself, you spread love within your own energy field and find a spiritual solution to self-hate. I believe that no one can truly love another person unless they love humanity first. Booker T. Washington, a former slave who had every reason to be filled with hate, is a great example of this. He once said, "I shall allow no man to belittle my soul by making me hate him." Washington started working at the age of 9, worked as a janitor to get an education, and later led the Tuskegee Institute in Alabama. Despite everything, he refused to hate because he knew that hatred diminishes the soul. His life shows us the power of choosing love over hate. When someone is hurt, we should offer forgiveness. St. Francis, known for healing the sick, wanted to connect so deeply with the spirit that his body and mind became one. He prayed for God's perfect consciousness to fill him so he could share this healing energy with others. I'm not asking you to become like St. Francis or Jesus and perform miracles. Instead, I'm asking you to be open to an idea that might seem strange or even impossible. Now, I want to explain how we can approach illness or injury in our lives and the lives of our loved ones from a spiritual perspective. When we face disease or injury, our main focus should be on finding a solution. This usually means returning our body to a healthy state as quickly and painlessly as possible. When I talk about taking responsibility for any disease or injury, I mean doing so without feeling guilty or ashamed, by saying this illness or injury is mine, I own it, and I control my attitude toward it. You gain a sense of empowerment. This mindset opens you to the healing energy that comes from a spiritual approach. We live in a world full of cancer-causing substances. There are pollutants in our air, food, and water. Getting angry about these conditions or blaming those responsible only makes the problem worse. Finding a spiritual solution means letting go of negative energies like shame, guilt, anger, and blame. By saying, "This is my situation and I seek a spiritual solution," you tap into higher healing energies. Your body is your path to understanding God in this lifetime. Some of us might have a bald head, be short, have poor vision, hearing loss, or legs that don't work properly. Seeing injury and disease in children is especially hard to think about. It's important to remember from a spiritual perspective that we are all infinite souls. We are never born and never die. Our true essence isn't our physical form. A young child could have an ancient soul. Who knows for sure? What I do know is that teaching any child with a disability to refuse to see themselves as limited, and helping them understand that their spirit is perfect and always connected to God, regardless of their body's condition, is a way to find a spiritual solution. This approach brings forgiveness to the presence of injury and helps in the healing process. Healing happens when you allow God's energy to flow through you, to heal both the injury and the injured person. Metaphysically speaking, all illness comes from disconnecting from God in our minds and bodies. While I respect the medical community, I'm suggesting that it's not the doctors, medicines, or therapy that truly heal us. Every doctor I know agrees that the body has an incredible power to heal itself. They understand there's a power at work that they can't see or touch, a power that's pure spiritual energy. There are no imperfect bodies, only imperfect ideas that make us feel separate from God. These ideas come from the ego, which creates the belief that we can't heal ourselves or others. For example, instead of thinking, "I have arthritis or migraines and there's nothing I can do about it. I'm stiff and in constant pain because of these problems." Try thinking, "I have these issues because of the imperfect ideas I have about my body." If you want a truly healthy body, keep your mind strong, loving, healthy, and positive, and your body will respond in kind. This positive attitude will also help you bring healing to others. There is a healer within you, always connected to spirit. To let this healer work in your life and in the lives of others, you need to set aside your ego. When we understand that healing comes from aligning with this spiritual energy, we can approach health with a new perspective. Instead of seeing illness as something we are stuck with, we can view it as an opportunity to reconnect with our spiritual source. By fostering positive thoughts and a loving attitude, we not only improve our own health, but also become a source of healing energy for those around us. Embracing this mindset allows the natural healer within us to thrive and work its wonders, reminding us of our intrinsic connection to a higher power and the boundless potential for healing that comes with it. Remember, your ego is just an idea you have that makes you think you're separate from everyone else, and defines you by what you have achieved and what you own. To understand true healing, you need to move beyond your ego. Everything starts in the mind, and this includes managing your ego's demands. Your body can reflect your thoughts perfectly if you stay alert and remove thoughts of sickness and the expectation of injury. Believing that a disease is incurable or an injury can't be healed is like saying to God, "I give up on you and myself as a part of you." When we let go of the ideas that create the illusion of disease, we open ourselves to the possibility of perfect health. I like to think of any disease or injury as an issue of energy. When your body is immobilized in some way, it's because the energy frequencies in your body are not matching the higher frequencies of perfect health created by spirit. At these higher frequencies, there is no room for the idea of something being incurable. Letting go of the concept of incurable diseases allows you to connect with perfect, harmonious energy. This is what spiritual consciousness means. Understanding that God doesn't want us to be deformed, injured, or suffering from disease. When we let go of our ego and the negative ideas it brings, we make room for healing and perfect health. By aligning our thoughts with positive energy and the higher frequencies of spirit, we invite a state of wellness and harmony into our lives. This shift in thinking helps us see that our true nature is healthy and whole, and that we are always connected to a higher power that supports our well-being. Seeing healing happen is a miraculous event, and it occurs every day in many different ways. A pimple fades as your skin heals. Cold symptoms that linger suddenly vanish. Your nose stops running, your temperature normalizes, your upset stomach calms down, and your broken finger heals. All this healing is just a return to being whole. Your thoughts play a big role in this process. Negative thoughts and low energy patterns can cause an ulcer, but they can also activate the flow of healing energy to remove that imbalance. The connection between your mind and body is real, but the connection between God and your body is the core of all healing. You might wonder why people like St. Francis, who had a strong connection with this highest energy of wholeness, died of illnesses like tuberculosis, or why Jesus died on the cross. When asked why he didn't heal himself, St. Francis said, "I want everyone to know that it is not me who does the healing." If you understand that healing is about realizing your connection to God and letting go of all thoughts of being separate from that divine consciousness, including fear of illness and death, you create an energy field for reconnecting with spirit. This is what healing is, and St. Francis asks you through his prayer to be a part of this process. Anyone can become a healer by understanding that they are simply a channel for perfect spiritual love to flow through. When you touch someone else's illness with the energy of spirit or the source, you help the healing process. By embracing this mindset, you become an instrument of healing, allowing the divine energy to work through you to bring wholeness to yourself and others. When dealing with any kind of injury, whether it's your own or someone else's, keep a positive attitude and hope for healing. Surround yourself with books and stories about healing and miraculous recoveries. Read and listen to tales of amazing cures and all the good things happening in the world. Constantly remind yourself that people are good, the sick can get better, and those who are hurt can heal. Remember, there are countless acts of kindness for every act of violence. Don't give extra love and attention only when there's sickness. This applies to how you treat yourself and others. Avoid creating a reason to stay sick by making illness the only time you show love and care. Sometimes, especially with children, sickness and love can get linked. They might wrongly believe that getting sick is a way to receive love. So always show love and attention, not just during times of illness. Think of sickness as something that isn't real. Treat it like an illusion, something that doesn't belong in your mind or the mind of the person who is hurt. I notice that people who often get sick or hurt seem to like talking about their problems. When they proudly tell me about their illnesses, I don't give much attention to the sickness itself. I tell them, "You don't have to live with this pain. You're stronger than any disease." I don't acknowledge the sickness as something powerful. I do the same with my family and myself. My wife and I have naturally taught our children that they are stronger than any sickness. By not giving attention to the sickness and instead using love to support healing, recovery happens much faster. You can do all of this if you open yourself to the idea that you can use your higher abilities to help bring back the natural loving balance of your body. Surround yourself with beauty and feel the healing power of God's harmonious world. Enjoy flowers, sunsets, sunrises, mountains, beaches, and spiritual books. Listen to as much beautiful music as you can. Let go of thoughts of anger, bitterness, or self-pity. Love your body as the temple God gave you to house your soul on this journey. By letting go of negative thoughts and not holding on to the idea of illness, you will bring a calm, healing energy to yourself. This peace will be your reward for letting go. St. Francis used the word pardon, which can also mean forgiving anyone who has hurt you in any way, not just physically. Forgiveness comes naturally when you don't hold on to hate. If someone hurts you, damages your reputation, or causes you physical harm, the spiritual solution, though it may seem hard, is to forgive them. Holding on to the pain and seeking revenge only keeps you trapped in suffering. As an old Chinese proverb wisely says, if you're going to seek revenge, you'd better dig 2 graves. Practice letting go of hurt feelings with love and forgiveness, and you will find spiritual solutions to most of your problems. You can't truly have faith if you rely on other people's words or experiences to know God. You need to make a strong effort to connect with the highest levels of spiritual energy on your own. When you have your own experience of spiritual awareness, doubt won't even enter your mind. You'll aim to live more and more at this spiritual level where you can always access this understanding. This understanding is what I call faith, and it can't be proven by anything outside of yourself. So why should you have any doubts about your ability to connect with spirit during tough times or problems? The key is understanding the difference between what you believe and what you personally know. Beliefs come from what others have told you and their attempts to convince you of their truths. All your religious training and theological teachings might be valid, but they are usually presented as the truth for everyone, including you. If you were taught these beliefs from birth, the pressure to accept them might have been very strong. This way of making people accept beliefs about God can create doubt, because these beliefs don't come from your own direct experience of God. You have faith that you can ride a bicycle, not because others told you, but because you have actually ridden a bike yourself. Your experience gives you confidence in your ability to ride. It isn't because someone proved the existence of balance or because everyone around you is riding bikes. It's your own direct experience that gives you faith in your ability to ride a bicycle. Similarly, true faith in God comes from your own direct experience, not just from what others tell you. When you live in the awareness of God's presence and breathe in that divine energy, you will have a faith that cannot be shaken. I've mentioned before that humans have one core problem from which all other issues arise: the belief that we are separate from God. This sense of separation creates our fears and leads to doubt. People who live in poor conditions, suffer from addictions, and feel hopeless often believe they are alone. They seem to have lost their connection to their soul and need to find a spiritual foundation. That foundation is love, the only everlasting power in the universe. Love is essential for healing and harmony. Rabindranath Tagore, a great Indian poet, said, "Faith is the bird that sings when the dawn is still dark." This means that faith is an inner knowing that light will come even in the darkest times. No one can force you to have this faith. Trying to force it often leads to doubt and disbelief. Let me share how I came to have this understanding which forever removed doubt from my mind. Meditation is valuable because it helps you connect with God and build a strong inner faith that this divine presence is always there. Knowing you have this connection with God removes any doubts you might have. This is what faith means. Faith is about trusting a spiritual awareness that goes beyond what our 5 senses can detect. A Buddhist proverb says that if you are facing the right direction, all you need to do is keep moving forward. When you keep telling yourself that things might not work out, that your problems keep getting worse, that your troubles are unsolvable, that God isn't listening, or that you are helpless, you are giving power to doubt instead of faith. The ability to recognize and affirm faith helps it become real in your life. Think about, write down, and say affirmations like these. I intend to create prosperity. I'll do what is necessary to solve this problem. I know I'm not alone, and I have faith that everything will turn out for the best. I don't focus on negative things or problems because I believe everything is happening as it should. I will consult with God and trust that I will be guided to do the right thing. These affirmations of faith, when practiced, will eventually lead you to a spiritual solution for any problem. Give credit to God. Remind yourself that a placebo is a perfect example of faith in action. You take a sugar pill, believing it has the power to heal your tumor, lower your blood pressure, or improve your health in some way. And it is your faith, not the pill, that causes your body to heal. This same faith in God's energy will bring peace and harmony to your life if you make it your inner belief. When we say the line, "Where there is despair, hope," in the St. Francis prayer, we ask for the strength to bring hope to those who are feeling hopeless, including ourselves. Despair is a mental state where we see a situation as terrible. By recognizing that despair is just a mental attitude, we can start to bring hope into our view of despair and dissolve it. Hope and despair cannot exist at the same time. One cancels out the other. Often, despair is the one that cancels out hope. When you think about it, hope is also just a thought or a vision. In times of despair, your energy is low, and you feel depressed or upset. If you see life as difficult, that's exactly how it will feel. A key part of spiritual energy is cheerfulness, having a hopeful and optimistic view of life. The spiritual way to handle despair involves 2 steps. First, raise your energy by connecting with God, which helps dissolve negative and pessimistic thoughts. Second, share this positive energy with others who might be feeling hopeless, helping them move away from their quiet desperation. It might seem strange to think that anyone would want to hold on to their sadness, but that's often the case. Over time, feeling that life is unfair, that others are to blame for our problems, and that no one understands us, leads to habitual thoughts of despair. Clinging to these ideas keeps a person stuck in self-pity, which can turn into self-hatred. The reason people stay attached to their gloom is because it means they don't have to take responsibility for their sadness or change their lifelong habits. It becomes a safe place where they can suffer comfortably. Many people mistakenly believe that they can't be happy or free without certain things or certain people. They think, without my possessions, without this person, without money, I'll always be sad. We justify our sadness based on what or who we think is missing. We feel joy when we get something we want, anxiety when we fear losing it, and despair when it's gone. To break this cycle of attachment, we need to understand the difference between our ego and our higher self. The ego says things like, I am what I have, what I do, and what others think of me. But if we quiet our minds, we can hear God's voice saying, none of these things will bring you true happiness. They are just illusions. I am your only source of peace. This is our higher self speaking. This is the spiritual solution to problems related to attachments. To be truly happy, you need to reprogram yourself and permanently let go of low-energy attachments. To get rid of attachments, you simply need to drop them. Remind yourself repeatedly that you wrongly believe your unhappiness is because someone or something is missing from your life. Think about this. Suffering ends when you stop thinking of it as suffering. When you connect with spiritual energy, the things that made you despair will dissolve. What you call suffering is actually a blessing. It teaches you to turn to God, to raise your vibration to the level of spirit, and to bring that loving spirit into the present moment. Many of the things that once made me despair were actually my greatest moments of growth and led me to a deeper devotion. What I used to call suffering helped me burn away my ego and become more purified. These low points in my life gave me the energy to lift myself to a higher place. Today there is a lot of talk about depression, with estimates saying that up to 20% of the population in developed countries suffers from it. Yet, depression itself does not exist. You can't bring home a box of depression to look at, clean up, and get rid of. There is no such thing as depression. There are only people having depressing thoughts. Many people believe they suffer from depression. There is a huge pharmaceutical industry that makes drugs to treat this condition. Some experts say depression is a psychological issue, while others believe it's due to a chemical imbalance. But one thing is certain. In our industrialized Western world, we believe depression is real. In a society focused on making money and buying things, people often overlook the beauty of nature, the importance of connecting with others, and the value of all life. Instead of living a contemplative spiritual life, communing with God, and understanding your higher self, many people chase after money. However, money does not bring true satisfaction. If you spend your whole life focused on things that you know in your heart are meaningless, you end up feeling empty, leading to what we call depression. Gradually, this negative mindset will affect everyone around you, including your children. They will start to believe in this illusion. Everyone will react to the low-energy thoughts of depression, worry, and fear, and their physical health will begin to suffer. Could it be that the key ingredient for solving this massive problem of depression is hope? In a way, hope is like restoring your appetite for life itself, and all the joy that comes from giving up the search for meaning and power in the material world. The story of Buddha is well known. A prince who had everything but realized it did not bring him enlightenment. He gave up the pursuit of material things to find a different path, one where the spirit was more important than the material world. I encourage you to replace the constant chase for money with the intention of creating a deeper and richer life experience. When you do this, hope will replace despair. Depression, whether clinical or otherwise, will become impossible. Start to find joy in being non-attached. When you love with attachment, it leads to despair because you rely on someone else for your happiness and fulfillment. If they don't act the way you think they should, you feel miserable. Instead, have hope for yourself. You can love anyone and appreciate them for who they are without thinking that you will be devastated if they disappoint you. Anthony de Mello offers 2 powerful affirmations in his book, The Way to Love, that can help you love in a non-attached way. The first is, I'm not really attached to you at all. I am merely deluding myself into the belief that without you, I will not be happy. The second is, I leave you free to be yourself, to think your thoughts, indulge your tastes, follow your inclinations, and behave in ways that you decide are to your liking. Don't add to someone's despair by sharing in their sadness. You can end despair by deciding in the present moment to let it go through a silent prayer. I can't handle this situation alone. I know you are here with me as my silent senior partner. I'm entrusting this to you. This simple and quiet prayer can provide immediate relief from feelings of despair. Imagine how you want everything to turn out, and then act as if what you want has already happened. For example, if you want to have more money and good things in your life, picture yourself already having them. Go to a car showroom and sit in the car you dream of owning. Picture yourself driving that car and keep that image in your mind. This will help guide you towards your goal. When you're going through tough times, try to find something good in the situation, even if it feels impossible. Stop for a moment, look for any blessings, and remember that past struggles often look like valuable lessons when you look back on them. For example, someone who used to struggle with alcohol might feel grateful for those experiences because they learned and grew from them. A rich person might appreciate their past poverty for teaching them important lessons. Now imagine yourself in the future looking back at your current situation. Think about how you might see this challenging time as a period of growth and learning. Use this hope to stop feeling sorry for yourself and focus on the positive. Turn your feelings of despair into gratitude by seeing them as chances to grow. Avoid being a listener to others' sad stories. Some people enjoy sharing tales of misery and disaster, and the more detailed and depressing the story, the more they seem to enjoy it. Listening to these stories can bring their sadness into your own life. When I hear such stories, I make it clear that I don't want to dwell on despair, whether it's mine or someone else's. When people talk about illnesses, accidents, or crimes, I listen politely, but then point out something positive in what they are saying. For example, I might say, Uncle Peter's heart attack might help him eat healthier and could have actually saved his life. Grandma is now at peace and will never suffer again. These kinds of responses politely show that you prefer to focus on the positive aspects of any situation. By bringing hope to these conversations, you can change the atmosphere from one of despair to one of positivity and hope. Keep going and stay strong. The pain you feel now will eventually turn into something good for you. This is the power of not giving up and bringing hope to what seems like a hopeless situation. Whenever you feel despair, whether it's your own or someone else's, remind yourself to connect with a higher, more positive energy. Focus that energy on the source of the despair. Imagine surrounding the source with light and God's unconditional love. Over time, you will bring hope to the despair you imagined. Where there is darkness, bring light. This line from the St. Francis prayer is about having the strength and ability to bring light to those who feel ugly or see the world as shallow, evil, or dark. When you live in darkness, you can't see the beauty around you. Darkness symbolizes being unable to see the true nature of the world. John Keats once wrote, "Beauty is truth, truth beauty. That is all you know on earth and all you need to know." In darkness, you can't see beauty or truth because they are the same thing. When you bring light into a dark place, the darkness disappears. If you enter a dark room with a lamp, the light will touch everyone around you. You don't need to say, "I'm bringing light." Everyone will know the light is there because the darkness will be gone. Remember, light and dark can't exist together. When you bring in light, the darkness must disappear. This shows the power of light over darkness. Besides thinking of light as fast-moving energy, think of light as an attitude. This means you can choose to have a light, positive mindset or a dark, negative one. When you think light, you approach problems with a clear and pure mindset, which helps solve them. You might have heard people talk about surrounding a friend or loved one with white light during tough times. This idea is based on the belief that light is protective and pure, and that it can shield someone from negative energies. Sending white light to a loved one is like sending them loving thoughts and trusting that these positive thoughts will help keep them safe. Light represents purity. When you bring purity to something impure, you are fulfilling the wish of St. Francis and finding a spiritual solution to the problem. By thinking light and having a positive attitude, you can help bring clarity and protection to difficult situations. When you spend time with people who think positive and light thoughts, you can feel a lighter, happier energy in the room. Everyone around them feels less anger and negativity because these people focus on positive and kind thoughts. Just like darkness disappears when you turn on a light, negative thoughts and actions can't survive in the presence of pure, positive energy. Light symbolizes treating yourself and others with kindness and respect, following the golden rule. Do the right thing, and in doing so, you bring light to darkness. When someone feels hurt, mistreated, lost, or alone, it's like they have a dark cloud hanging over them. By bringing light to their sadness, we can help them feel better by treating them the way we would want to be treated. Thinking about how you want to be treated helps you practice the golden rule with others. When you bring this light into dark situations, you make a positive difference in their lives and help to chase away their dark feelings. James Russell Lowell once said, "Light is the symbol of truth, and I believe dark is the symbol of deceit. Most addictions thrive on denial, which is like a monster hiding in the dark, afraid to be seen in the light. Eating disorders often happen in secret, hidden away. Denial keeps the problem going until the person finally allows the truth to come out. Severe drug addicts and alcoholics often need an intervention to face the truth. An intervention is when family and friends confront the addict, forcing them to see the reality of their situation. The light of truth shines so brightly that there is no escape into the darkness, and the addict is faced with the choice to change. If they decide to embrace the truth, the darkness and the problem start to disappear. When you live in the light and bring this light to dark situations, you are bringing a clear understanding to the problem. This clarity means you know within yourself that you are connected to God and free of any doubt. By bringing light to darkness, you show your own clear vision and capacity to overcome the problem with your light. When you trust the clear light to shine on any problem, you raise your energy and tap into divine guidance. Here are some tips to help you bring light to dark times in your life. 1. Notice beauty. Throughout the day, take moments to appreciate and feel grateful for the beauty around you. This might be hard during tough times, but it will help you get into the habit of leaving darkness behind. 2. Read inspirational stories. Learn about people who have overcome darkness in their own lives. For example, Helen Keller, who was blind and deaf, still managed to achieve so much. Her story can inspire you to bring enthusiasm and light to your own problems. 3. Learn from Lance Armstrong. Lance Armstrong was diagnosed with terminal cancer and had major surgery to remove a cancerous testicle and tumours in his lungs, stomach and brain. Despite this, he went on to win the Tour de France, a 600-mile bike race through the mountains in the summer. He won it again the following year. His story shows that we can find light even in the darkest moments and use that light to overcome obstacles. Practice seeing the light within you. Bring light thoughts to every dark situation. This means consciously choosing to focus on positive, hopeful thoughts and actions, no matter how challenging the circumstances. By doing this, you can find strength and guidance to deal with any problem. It's very common to do the exact opposite of what we should. When we focus on negative things, we attract more negativity. For instance, if you keep thinking about how bad a situation is and how everything seems to be getting worse, you are actually inviting more darkness into your life. Similarly, when you meet someone who is going through a tough time and you approach them with fear and worry, you are connecting with their darkness. Empathy is a wonderful and positive quality, and I encourage you to have compassionate and loving thoughts for those who are struggling. However, it's important not to confuse empathy with adding to the darkness. Instead, think positive thoughts of light and love, and bring that energy into the situation. This way, you help to bring light into the darkness. I suggest that you look at your fearful thoughts in bright daylight. Thoughts that seem very scary at night usually don't seem as bad when you think about them during the day. Next time you have dark thoughts, bring in the light and see how it changes things. Try to clean up all areas of your life, starting with your body. Drink more pure water and less soda, alcohol, and coffee. Drinking 8 to 10 glasses of pure water a day helps to flush out the toxins that lower your energy. Also, choose purer foods. Eat at least 3 pieces of fruit every day and have fresh organic vegetables at least twice a day. Get rid of the toxins in your diet and notice how much better you feel. To fully purify yourself, work on keeping your thoughts clean and positive. Train yourself not to be judgmental or angry. By purifying your body, thoughts, and words, you purify all your actions, bringing light to any darkness in your life. When you lie or deceive, you introduce negativity into your system. Truth is the light. Practice being truthful when helping others and always be honest with yourself. Sadness and joy are attitudes we develop over a lifetime. Sadness comes from focusing on what is wrong or missing in our lives. Anthony Dello said it well. There's only one reason why you're not experiencing bliss at this present moment, and it's because you're thinking or focusing on what you don't have. Sadness is a habit of viewing the world from a perspective of lack, always thinking about not having enough of what you want, like money, health, love, friends, or free time. Joy is about seeing the world in a positive way, focusing on what you have and what is good. Joyful people appreciate their own strengths, talents, and abilities without comparing themselves to others. They are not threatened by others' successes. Joy comes from celebrating who you are, what you have, and what you can become, recognizing that you are a part of something divine. Joy makes time feel like it's moving faster, while sadness makes it feel slower. Joy is a high energy that can overcome the low energy of sadness. Most people are naturally attracted to those with a positive and joyful outlook. You can develop this attitude by being aware of all the good things in your life. Living with purpose brings joy. Psychologist Abraham Maslow described self-actualization as a process of moving up from basic needs like food and shelter to higher needs like belonging and appreciating beauty. At the top of this pyramid is a deep sense of purpose and meaning, where spiritual joy is found. In this state, time seems to disappear, and you connect with the highest part of yourself, or what I call God consciousness. This blissful state depends on the quality of your thoughts. Letting go of worries about what others think of you and not focusing on the results you achieve allows you to find joy. Instead, fully immerse yourself in the activities of your life. True joy comes from realizing it is already within you, not from striving to find it. The real joy of living is letting the higher energies of your spirit guide you. When you reach this awareness, you no longer need to ask about your purpose or how to find it. You feel a sense of purpose in everything you do and bring joy to everyone you meet. It doesn't matter if you are weeding your garden, reading a book, shoveling snow, creating music, driving in traffic, or meditating quietly. You will bring joy to these activities because you are in harmony with a higher power rather than in conflict. A great way to find happiness and joy for yourself is to focus on making someone else happy. If you search for joy for yourself, it will seem hard to find because you become focused on the search. But if you try to make someone else happy, joy will come to you. Remember, you come into this life with nothing and you leave with nothing. The best thing you can do with your life is to give it away to others. This is the true essence of feeling purposeful. And this is what St. Francis understood as the goal of life. You might be wondering if I'm saying you should never feel sad and just deny those feelings. That's not the case. Of course, you will feel sad sometimes, and I don't suggest pretending to be happy when you're not. So how do you handle this? Don't try to fake happiness when you're sad. Instead, recognize that you're feeling sad. Then ask yourself if you want to stay in that emotional state. If the answer is no, try to understand that sadness comes from how you are thinking. Sadness exists only in your mind. It is not out in the world. When you become aware of your sadness, you give yourself the chance to replace it with joy. Joy is the spiritual answer to sadness. If you've ever thought, I don't know what my purpose is, remember that the best thing you can do with your life is to help others. Whenever you are feeling sad, lost, or purposeless, stop and ask, how can I help? By reaching out to help others in any small way, you will feel more purposeful. This is how you can bring joy into your life even when you are feeling sad. Helping someone cross the street or holding a door open for a stranger are acts of purpose. Even a kind greeting or sending a card are meaningful actions. They bring you joy and reduce sadness in others and yourself. Make a list of people you would call if you had only one more day to live. Think about what you would say to them. Then ask yourself, what are you waiting for? Tomorrow isn't guaranteed. Tell the people you love how you feel about them and why. If you've hurt or offended someone, ask for their forgiveness. If there are unresolved hurts in your life, try to replace them with joy today. Send flowers, make a call, or write a letter. For me, I find that I never have enough time to do everything I want, so I don't waste time on feeling sad or self-pity. Yes, I do get hurt and feel sad sometimes, but my wonder at everything around me and my strong desire to fulfill my destiny leave little room for sadness. John Templeton, in his book Worldwide Laws of Life, suggests 3 simple words that seem magical for developing a positive attitude. Feel supremely happy. When you let yourself feel supremely happy, no matter what's happening around you, your whole body changes. Your thoughts, your expressions, your health, your attitudes, everything in your life gets better. I've tried this technique many times. I simply tell myself, right now, no matter what is happening around me, I'm going to feel supremely happy. And almost like magic, I'm lifted to a higher, more joyful state of mind. I also imagine unplugging myself from the physical world and plugging into God. When I get that picture in my head, I say, I feel supremely happy. Try it, and you'll be amazed at how quickly you can move from sadness to joy. As you try to understand where your mind is, looking for its boundaries and substance, you'll find the truth. There is no physical place called your mind. Then the illusion is dissolved by the goodness of God. When you connect to God's energy, you will know that there is a spiritual solution to every problem, and you will never doubt it again. Thank you for listening.